Toby Reddick, President of the congregation. Joining me on the bema on this side is Michael Zeff, and Fran Cooper, who is so kindly closing the door for us over there. They are both board members. I would ask everybody to please take your cell phones, turn them off, put them on silent or vibrate. We really would like to keep the sanctity of the service going this evening without the extra noise of a cell phone going off. As we did for Rosh Hashanah, if you have a part in tonight's service, please have a seat over on the side chairs about 5 or 6 pages prior to your honor, and then the ushers will let you know when to come up and sit up on the bema. All readings will be done from this podium. We're all wearing our lanyards this evening. If you are a member, you may take it home this evening so that you don't have to worry about getting it off the board tomorrow morning. However, you must bring it back. If you are a guest, please return your lanyards before you leave. You may return it either to the table from which you got them, or if you go out the back doors, there are baskets that you can drop yours in. Also, if you are wanting a Jewish calendar, they are in the front lobby. You may pick one up on your way out. The doors will be closing in just a moment. Nobody should be coming in or going out during Kol Nidre. If, for whatever reason, you need to use the restroom, we have 2 back there. Please do not open the sanctuary doors to the lobby. Thank you for cooperating. Thank you for your understanding and good judgment.
Lord of the universe, in awe and humility I have come to stand before you to pray with your people Israel and on their behalf. Who is fit for such a task? Yet you are present to us whenever our voices rise in praise. In your great mercy, have compassion on me and on us all. Let my congregation not falter on my account, nor I on theirs. Guide the lips of those who lead your people in worship. Strengthen our faith and purify our thoughts. And let your love draw a veil over all our failings. So may our prayers descend this day to the throne of your glory. Page 248, we invite Miriam Castle to light candles with Yom Kippurim, the Day of Atonement. We remember.
As the Shabbos, O source of light and truth, creator of eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadliknei shel yom hakippurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehachiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higyanu l'azman haseh.
Kol Nidre, the greatest moment of our lives. Let me repeat, this is the greatest moment of our lives. We gather together, Jews of all different stripes, on the most holy night of our year in our lives, and imbue it with a depth of purpose second to none other. We stand here, as we will hear not once, but 3 times, Kol Nidre. We ask God to allow us pardon, to forgive our verbal trespasses, our human frailties, and dismiss vows made in haste and unthinking moments. Some, even in dishonor, be it intentional or unintentional. We come here on a night so important, we show up early so as not to miss the intoning of a prayer so important. Tonight is the only service named for a prayer and a prayer recited 3 times to allow for those held up to no fault of their own to not miss the hearing. And yet I wonder if the true, deeper meaning escapes us during these fleeting moments of designated emotional bravado. Kol Nidre, all vows, O Lord my God. Let me be freed from shame at not fulfilling them. God allows us to be human with all our human smallnesses and grant each of us the time to try and reach the apex of how well a human can live, up to the vision of a godly world. But if God is only part of our weekly Shabbat and yearly High Holy Day experience, how do we, each of us, portend to reach that height? By what design do we expect to reach moral righteousness? What is the paradigm of success that has yet again opened a door to us, even as we believe that we have already met the challenge? In one prayer on this night, we have 3 different ways to travel that road. A prayer with the power to truly ignite our path to wholeness and fulfillments. What enlightenment will bring us a step closer to the necessary knowledge upon which success depends. The Unatana Tokef prayer reminds us of the oxymoron of our lives. First, we do not, for the most part, control our own lives. We do not truly control or decide who will live and who will die, even though just a little bit from now we will ask God to make those choices. Many times each year we look at people who create and present evilness and watch them succeed, while those we hold in high esteem and who live with honor fail. Why is that? Why does God allow that? Why do we blame God? Why is it that following what we see as God's way to live doesn't always work out in the positive manner we hope? What does it take for us to win, to succeed in this thing called life? It takes a number of things. First, we must understand that God does not dictate. Remember, God says in Genesis 8, verse 21, immediately after the flood, "Never again will I doom the earth because of man, nor will I destroy every human being as I have done." God is in partnership with humanity, a silent partnership wherein we together create a concrete vision that can make a difference. Second, we must understand the words we speak in prayer and then ask, is God listening? Maybe. We who are here certainly are here hoping so. So I ask you instead, not is God listening, but are you listening? Do we actually listen to the words we read and speak? And if the answer isn't a resounding yes, why on earth would you think that God is listening either? If our commitment is lacking, why do we presume God is dissimilar? Why would we think that God would be any different as we were created in the image of God? Third, and in many ways most importantly, talk is cheap. Nothing God asks us to do includes the words or concepts of sitting around and waiting, or reading, or just talking to hear ourselves talk. You want God in your life? And create a place. Hamakom. The place for God in your life. Place God in front of your mind and create a vision, a goal for you to reach. In the Unatana Tokef prayer at the end, we are given hope after being reminded of how little power we actually have. We are given a list of 3 things that allow us to circumvent the harshness of the decree. Teshuvah, a return to the right path. In order to return to a right path, we must remember what a right path looks like so we can see it when we are on it. Parenthetically, we must also be able to see a wrong path if we are on that. Notice the prayer says, a return to a right path. So how is it that we individually lose our way? By being led astray by forces that would take us away from that God vision we once had and need to return to. I've said it before, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. On this night, it is our duty to reimagine the right path and get ourselves back to it. Second on the list, tefillah, prayer. Whoever told you that prayer is easy lied to you. I've said it before. It's hard. It's hard to focus, to be reminded of and recommit to a road many of us have already left. But it's not just praying that generates prayer. It is action. Do prayer. Live prayerfully. Don't just read them. God asks action. Every time God speaks to us in the Torah, God asks us to do something, even if it is an emotional, spiritual commitment. We don't get the right to just sit and go, okay, that's good. God asks action of us. So do something. Commit to something. See something that is wrong and commit to helping fix it. That's how to do Jewish. That's what the Lord requires of you. And third, with tzedakah, righteous giving. Giving, not while mumbling, but truly righteous giving. See a need, fill a need. Shouldn't be all that hard. Giving is half of the word forgiving. And that's what we are asking God to do tonight. If you truly fulfilled the ideology of the 10 days of awe, the last 10 days, you spent a great deal of time asking forgiveness from and offering it to others. Giving someone space to disagree with you and not becoming disagreeable is giving, isn't it? Find a way to have this Yom Kippur, and especially this Kol Nidre night, become the greatest moment in your life. Make this the night you see what you seek. The way back to the road of partnership with God, your friends, your family, your Jewish family, and most importantly, to your own authentic self. That, my friends, is the dilemma of these 10 days. How to reassert yourself into our world and offer true tefillah u'tzedakah, true prayer, true charity. Those things will lead you to teshuvah, the path of return. I pray that through these next 24 hours we each find our way to the path, to the way, to the vision of true partnership and a life with God as your partner. That will cement the vision that will allow us to unequivocally proclaim this the greatest night in our lives. King Yehirat Song, may this be God's will and ours. Gemar Chatima Tova. May we stand at this time tomorrow, having been truly inscribed not just written, but truly inscribed in the book of life. We each get a page. What is on the page is up to us. We continue in silence at the bottom of page 250. For transgressions against God, the day of atonement atones. For transgressions of one human being against another, the day of atonement does not atone until they have made peace with one another. Sight of God and of the congregation, no matter how far some of us may have transgressed by departing from our people and our heritage, we pray as one on this night of repentance. Kol Nidre, a whisper of wings, as promises are remembered, saint and sinner alike communes with the Most High. We are at one. vows and oaths, all the promises we make, and the obligations we incur to you, O God, between this Yom Kippur and the next, be null and void should we, after honest effort, find ourselves unable to fulfill them. Then may we be absolved of them.
Shara
And God said, I have pardoned in response to your plea. It is required that we hear Yom Kippur 3 times. And so I would ask you to read on page 252 in the middle of the translation, and at the bottom of 252, and spend a few moments in silence as we prepare to hear the Kol Nidre prayer played as we meditate on our lives and our choices. with all the promises we make and the obligations we incur to you, O God, between this Yom Kippur and the next be null and void. Again, should we, after honest effort, find ourselves unable to fulfill them, then may we be absolved of them. Knowingly or not, the whole community of Israel and all who live among them have sinned. Let them be forgiven. As we love, middle of page 253. Sader et hakochavim b'mishmeroteihem, orakia kirtzono. O God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, yet you are farther than the farthermost star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of night, yet as familiar to us as the light of the sun. To Moses you said, you cannot see my face, but I will make all my goodness pass before you. Even so does your goodness pass before us in the realm of nature and in the varied experiences of our lives. When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, the love of those who will sacrifice from us, and to last whole measure of selfless devotion, we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, that they would witness into our lives, that they would live in our hearts, and believe in the righteousness of the Holy Presence. Shema Yisrael. shall love your eternal God with all your mind, all your strength. Say these words which I command you to say upon your heart. Teach them daily to your children. Speak them in your home and on your bed. When you lie down and when you rise up, bind the sign upon your hand. Let it be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe it on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. True and enduring are the words spoken by our prophets. You are the living God, your word is life and my soul.
You are the first and the last.
Besides you, there is no need for a Savior.
You are the strength of our life, the power that saves us.
Your kingdom is to abide forever.
You have been the help of our people in time of trouble.
You are our refuge in all generations.
Your power was manifest when we went free out of Egypt.
May the law of freedom rule the hearts of all your children. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and triumph by your power.
O God, our refuge and our hope, we glorify your name now as ever and in ages. Page 258. The shadows fall, but end of days fills the eyes with brightness. The infinite heavens glow, and all creation sings its hymn of glory. With hope, therefore, we pray for light within. O God, reveal yourself, hide no more. Let your face shine on all who seek you. Eternal infinite God, banish our darkness. Be present to us as the sun of light that lives afar and visible. Then shall we be at peace, O God, whose peaceful shelter we seek through all the days and nights of our lives. On page 259, Ki vayom hazeh yechaper aleichem, v'taher etchem mikol chatotechem, lifnei Adonai yitharu.
Leave
יתגדל יתקדש שמי רבה. לעלמא תברכי להמליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בהגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו Adonai Shvatai Tiftach, Ufi Agiti Ilatecha. May our lips and our lives be one in serving eternal truth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu V'Imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim Begonei HaKol V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot U'mevii Gehula Libnei Bneihem Leman Shemo L'Ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen Baruch atah Adonai Baruch Shemo Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah
Amen.
ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מקרוב רבה כמורות, מקרוב רבה כמורות, ומקרוב On page 262, please be seated. Eternal God, let your presence be manifest to us in all your works. With reverence may fill the hearts of all your creatures. Make all your children mindful of your glory, that we may unite to do your will with perfect heart. For yours are dominion and power, and the impress of your hand is upon all that you have made.
Bring honor to those who revere you, inspire the courage to those who wait for you, and fulfill love of all who trust in your name.
Hasten the day that will bring gladness to all who dwell on earth, and victory of the Spirit to those who bear witness to your truth.
And the just shall see you all, the upright be glad, and your service to the Lord. Then shall your redeeming come, and your goodness and shall with the living in our eyes shall pass away forever.
You alone shall reign over all your works, as it is written.
The Lord shall reign forever. God is thine, generation to generation. Hallelujah.
On page 264, Baruch atah Adonai HaMelech HaKadosh. Blessed is our God, the Holy Sovereign. And just for 1 minute, if you would turn with me back to page 261. At the top of the page is the prayer Zachrenu. And if you take a look, the words are Zachrenu Lechayim, Melech Chafetz B'Chayim. But the next word is Dechatveinu, followed by B'Sefer HaChayim. Dechatveinu comes from Lichtov, which is to write. And we will say Dechatveinu until tomorrow afternoon when the word changes to V'chatmeinu. And that is wherein God will inscribe us in the book of life. Up until then, we say Dechatveinu, Lichtov, to write. Now we can continue. On page 266.
Be gracious, O Lord our God, to your people Israel, and receive our prayers with love. Oh, may our worship always be acceptable to you. Fill us with the knowledge that you are near to all who seek you in truth. Pour out your Spirit upon us, Let our eyes behold your presence in our midst and in the midst of our people in Zion. Grant us peace and give this message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country that it may always be a stronghold of peace and its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within its homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship friendship among the inhabitants of all lands. And may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Teach us, O God, to labor for righteousness and inscribe us in the book of life, blessing and peace. Blessed is the eternal God, the source of peace.
We continue in silence. Page 269, we come to one of our obligations, the vidui, the confessions of sins. And so I invite you all to please rise. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, tavo lipanecha tefilatenu, ve'al titalam mitchinatenu, she'en anachnu Azei fanim ukshei oref, lomar lupanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu, tzadikim anachnu v'lo chatanu, aval anachnu chatanu, avinu, pashanu. Our God, the melody of Hashamnu was by design a melody that we can, as a congregation and a community, join in together. As I recite through the music of this song the individual sins, you are invited to feel free with the choir to repeat them exactly as you hear them. And then there is the refrain. We all have committed offenses. Together we confess these human sins. Some of us kept grudges, were lustful, malicious, were narrow-minded. There was violence, weakness of will, xenophobia. We have turned aside from your commandments. Now may it be your will, God of all generations, to forgive all our sins, to pardon all our wrongdoings, and to blot out our transgressions. Al chet shechatanu lepanecha be'ones u'beratzon. Al chet shechatanu lepanecha b'zadon u'vishgaga. Al chet shechatanu lepanecha b'galui u'vasater. Al chet shechatanu lepanecha b'harhor halev. Al chet shechatanu lepanecha b'dibur peh. Ve'al chet shechatanu lepanecha b'chozek yad. Ve'al kulam elo aslichot, tzlach lanu, mechal lanu, kaper lanu. Shechatanu lepanecha be'imutz halev. Al chet shechatanu lepanecha b'chilul Hashem. Ve'al chet shechatanu lepanecha b'zilzul horim u'morim. Al chet shechatanu lepanecha Zilshon hara. Al chet shechatanu lepanecha b'masa u'fmatan. Ve'al chet shechatanu lepanecha b'hona'at re'ah. Ve'al kulam elo aslichot, tzlach lanu, mechal lanu, kaper lanu. We continue on page 276.
Who among us is righteous enough to say, I have not sinned? Born of love to love, we grow weary, heavy with regret, sorry for ourselves, and afraid to know what might have been. Look now to the cities, see the broken streets, poor and decayed, and all afraid. See them and ask, what have we done? and air and soil and sea, still we beat plowshares into swords and make spears out of pruning hooks. Disfigured lies the human form divine, estranged from our center. Our iniquities have separated us from our God. Vision fades as the presence recedes, the voice grows still. The search for God is over and gone. We are alone, all alone, our meaning unremembered.
Help us to turn to God. Help us to find ourselves. Help us to learn where to seek you.
Here now on Atonement Day, we need not be alone with our failing. Let us recall together blessed moments when clouds parted and the sun appeared. We looked, we saw, there was healing and the hope of joy. We were at peace and knew the joy of hope. O God, turn us to the heights where human goodness finds dwelling. Lead us to your holy mountain, your hand stretched forth in welcome to help us on the way. Our God, God of all generations, may the sense of your presence never leave us. May it keep us faithful to your covenant. Make us responsive to your teaching, that we may walk in your ways. Fill our souls with awe and our hearts with love, that we may return to you in truth and with all our being.
Lord our God, let us defend our longing for you. Help us to overcome our lives and trials. That through us your power and your might, so we have us to fulfill the duty.
Hear our voice, Lord, our God. Have compassion upon us, and with that compassion, accept our prayer.
Help us to return to you, O Lord, and truly shall we return, for you are gracious and fast.
Consider our words, Lord. Look into our inmost thoughts.
Do not cast us away from your presence. Do not remove your Holy Spirit.
Do not cast us away when we are old. As our strength diminishes, do not abandon us.
Do not abandon us, Lord our God. Do not far from us.
For you, Lord, do we wait, and you, our God, will answer.
On page 280. Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu P'tach Sharei Shemayim L'Tfilatenu. Avinu Malkeinu Tehei Hasha'ah Hazot Sha'at Rachamim Ve'eit Ratzon L'Fanecha. Avinu Malkeinu Harem Keren Yisrael Amecha. Avinu Malkeinu Azeh L'Ma'an Harugim Al Shem Kodshecha. Avinu Malkeinu Azeh L'Ma'an Ba'e Ba'esh U'Vamayim Al Kiddush Shemecha. Avinu Malkeinu Aseh L'Ma'an Chada Hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu Katvenu B'Sefer Slicha U'Mechila. Avinu Malkeinu Katvenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim. Avinu Malkeinu Katvenu B'Sefer Geula Yeshua. Avinu Malkeinu Chaninu Ba'anenu Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim Aseh Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed V'Hoshienu.
Father, King, be gracious and answer us. We will remember. Treat us generously with kindness and your
Avinu Malkeinu
to take a moment before I do the Yom Kippur appeal to thank the students from Jupiter High School, Dreyfus School of the Arts, and Lincoln Park High School, and their instructor, Laura Hopkins, for the beautiful, beautiful music this evening. Laura Hopkins did Kol Nidre, and we appreciate that beautiful rendition. Thank you so much, everybody. I didn't need to move the clock, sorry. Of course, I'd like to thank the choir, the rabbi, the ushers, and so forth, but they are our special guests this evening, so thank you, students all. I recently returned from visiting my daughter and her family in North Carolina. My granddaughter, who is almost 3 years old, attends the Jewish preschool there, and they celebrate Shabbat every Friday. Excuse me for my cold. I got that from coming home from North Carolina. I had the opportunity to join her for one of their Shabbats while I was there. What an experience that was. Thursday evening, my daughter and son-in-law got things ready for their daughter's day at school. They made her lunch and got her backpack ready. Since they were getting her ready for Shabbat, she had to get her tzedakah. My granddaughter got so excited. Her father got some coins and she got to choose which ones she wanted to take, and then she put them in her little tzedakah container to take to school. The next morning, she proudly took the coins out of the container and dropped them in the class's tzedakah box. When it was time to celebrate Shabbat, all of the classes met in a large room. There were about 250 children there. Yeah, ages 12 months to 5 years. This is the Jewish community in the city, not just one synagogue. They sang, danced, and said the prayers over the Shabbat candles, wine, and challah. Then it was tzedakah time. One child from each class took his or her class's tzedakah box and emptied it into the school's larger ones. The students were so excited hearing the clinking of the coins dropping into the containers. And they sang another song. They sang about giving to help others in need, whether near or far, here or in Israel. I thought, what a fun way to instill such an important value. It was such a pleasure to see things through the eyes of young children. They see joy in little things. They are enthusiastic, full of life. They are unique and positive. They have a magical spark about them. We adults, on the other hand, have become cynical. We worry about rules, expectations, and society's barriers, or at least the things we perceive as barriers. And in doing so, we limit ourselves and our thinking. Our scope tends to narrow. We become a bit more negative and less enthusiastic. After all, we are faced with problems and decisions children don't have to worry about. Here at Temple Bethel, Israel, we have those worries. We have a mortgage, electric, water, gas, and lawn maintenance. We have to pay for security guards and our security system. In fact, we spend about $30,000 each month just to run the temple. Then there are the extras, such as our never-ending air conditioner replacements, and yes, we had to replace another air conditioner recently. But those are just a few of the have-tos. We also have our wants, such as the floor in the social hall, which needs some work. And I know some of you would like to see new chairs in the social hall. Our building is 21 years old, and we all know the older a building gets and the more it is used, the more maintenance it needs. There are improvements we also want, such as increasing the security by installing one-way window film on the doors and windows as suggested by law enforcement, and by installing cameras in our parking lots. So what can we do about all these things? How can we pay for them? Well, there are several ways. First, we have a capital improvement fund. We could continue drawing from that account until it is gone. But once that happens, we won't have anything left to fall back on. And we need to have money available for a true emergency. Second, our 501c3 certificate. Well, we are still in the application process, and once we receive that certificate, we can start applying for grants. A grant, however, isn't just for whatever we want. They just don't give us free money. There are specific things that the grants require, and I've just missed a page. The process is often long and tedious, and grants are not necessarily free. Sometimes the recipients have to come up with a percentage of the amount, and that could be 10%, 25%, or 50% if it is a 50-50 match. That means in order to get money, we have to have money. And we need to remember that there are many groups applying for the same grants. Now, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from applying, because we will apply. Because if we don't, we will never receive anything. We just have to be patient and willing to do our part, which means being able to come up with some money in order to get money. Finally, and the most important, is each of us. It is always nice when someone else donates to help cover the cost of something, but real inner joy comes from what we do. Studies have shown giving activates the reward center in our brains. It helps bring satisfaction in life and helps us feel happier. No wonder the preschoolers were so excited about tzedakah. That was their giving. We have spent the past 10 days looking inward and asking forgiveness for the wrongs we have committed. Now it is time to start doing the right thing. So I encourage you to look deep into your hearts this evening when making your pledges. Think about what you can do and what you want to do to help Temple Beth El Israel. Once you determine that, tear off one or possibly a couple of the tabs on your pledge cards. Your pledge can be paid off all at once, or you can make payments. How you pay is not important. What is important is that you show your support for the temple that is here for you. Temple Beth El Israel needs your help to do the things we need to do and to do the things we and you want to do. After you have made your pledge, please put your cards back into the envelopes, pass them to your left, where the ushers will pick them up. They'll come down the aisles. Those of you who are in the far right, the ushers will be coming down that aisle. You can pass yours to your right. Thank you, and good Yom Tov. If you didn't pick up your envelopes, they'll be out there tomorrow. If you don't pick them up tomorrow, we'll mail them to you.
Continue on page 82. Yeah, 282. Why, did I go backwards? Okay, we can start at 82. Yeah. Let's see how the Yom Kippur appeal did. We can start at 15. Let us revere the God of life and sing the praise of nature's Lord, who spread out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is proclaimed by the starry skies, and whose wonders are revealed in human heart. He is our God, who is within us. With love and all we proclaim to our God, the Holy One, blessed is He. Anachnu korim, mishtachim amodim, lifnei melech malchei hamalchim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The day will come when all shall turn with trust to God, hearkening to God's voice, bearing witness to God's truth. We pray with all our hearts, let violence be gone. Let the day come soon when evil shall give way to goodness, when war shall be forgotten, hunger be no more, and all at last shall live in freedom together. The source of life may be created in your image, embrace one another in friendship and joy, that shall be one family, and shall be kingdoms established on earth, where the word of your heart fulfilled. Lord, we reign forever and ever. this night. Remember those of this congregation who have passed during the year that has taken place from last Yom Kippur to today. We mention Leonard Bloom, Billy Esperson, Nathan Fink, Beverly Flax, Rabbi Solomon Goldberg, Jerry Precious, Jeanette Gubin, Tina Hacht, Sadie Harris, Arnold Harry Porter, Layla Levine, Michael Merlin, Debbie Morabito, Phyllis Radless, Barbara Schachter, Sarah Teitelbaum, Joseph Wolf. As always, we also always remember those taken by the hand of the oppressor. Those for whom there is no one to recite Kaddish for them. On page 284. Yet Gadal May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. We conclude with Adonai Li, which, if you want to follow, can be found on page 47. It is the last verse of Adon Olam.
Amen.
May you all be inscribed in the book of life. Amen.